Hello, this is Untangled by Olivia. I'm going to show you how to string the beads. Basically, there's two ways to string the beads when you're doing beaded crochet necklace. One way is to take, if you saw my previous video, I talked about how this pattern can be repeated. This pattern, the repeat on this pattern is actually pretty short. So you can probably repeat this pattern 3 times, 2 or 3 times, and then take all those beads and start crocheting with it. And then when you run out of beads, you're probably going to have to do the pattern again because there's no way 2 or 3 repeats of this pattern does not make a necklace. It'll be like a necklace like this short. So you can do that, use up all those beads, cut the thread, repeat this pattern 2 or 3 more times, and then tie the thread together with what you've already made and continue crocheting. So that way it's a little bit faster because you don't have to deal with moving the strings around, and you'll see that later. But I don't like it because it makes the necklace have a point of vulnerability, if that's what you want. Yeah, it's like a point of failure. Every time you cut the thread, it gets a little bit weaker because the knots could untie. It's very unlikely, but it can untie, and in my mind it's not convenient actually to have to untie and then start beading again, because I like to take my projects with me. I take it everywhere. Anytime I'm waiting for something, like I'm at the kiss and ride waiting to pick up my kids, I'm just sitting in the car waiting. If I can have something to do, I bring one of my projects. I would not be able to bring this project if I made it short, because once I run out of beads, I have to stop and wait until I get home, because I'm not gonna string beads while I'm in the parking lot in a car. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. The beads are not gonna, there's no table to put the beads on. So really you have nothing until you get back. I prefer to put all the beads on the string that I'm going to use for the entire necklace. It's tedious, it's more work, but I've come to appreciate it. I really don't like stopping and then continue beading. So I'm going to show you the method of how to do it my way, which is the long way, pulling out enough thread. The first question is, how much thread do you need to pull out so that you have enough beads for the entire project? And that is actually a very easy math problem. Basically, the average necklace that I make is about 50 centimeters. That seems to hang just at the right spot for most people. And if I have that extra chain on there, then you can add an extra 1.5 inches to that 50 centimeters. And I also pick 50 centimeters because it's easy. It's so easy to calculate. In this pattern, let's say this pattern has 17 beads per row. That means that each time I go around, because you're basically making a spiral crochet, each time I go around, I need 17 beads so that the pattern will line up and it'll make sense. All you have to do is take 17, multiply it by 50, because you have 50 centimeters of necklace, and that's the number, that's how long, that's how many beads you have to fit into the thread. And what I mean by that is you take the thread, measure out 17 times 50, which is 850. Measure 850 centimeters of thread. And once you fill all that thread with beads, That is all the beads you're going to use for this entire project. It sounds like a lot, but in my mind, you're doing that anyway. You're just saving yourself some thread because you don't have to keep cutting and then restarting again. And I have ways to manage the thread so that it doesn't get tangled. So if you tune into my next video, I'm going to show you how to actually put beads on the thread.